Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Justin D'Souza. I'm a quantitative specialist here at Statistics Solutions. During today's webinar, we are going to discuss how to select an ideal survey instrument for a quantitative study. So I'm going to go through the whole presentation first. And if you have questions, you can type those into the chat box or the question and answer box. And at the end of the presentation, I will be doing a Q&A session. My colleague Brittany will also be assisting today. So if you have any questions about the services that our company provides, you can reach out to Brittany, okay? And we will be sending everyone a copy of the PowerPoint as well as a recording of the webinar. So I'll start out by giving a brief overview of the services that our company provides. Then we'll dive into today's topic about selecting a survey instrument. Where can you look for one? What are the types of statistics you should look for and report? Where can you look for permissions to use them? We'll conclude with a summary and a question and answer session. So on this slide, I have a list of all the different parts of the dissertation that our company provides assistance with. So we really help with everything from topic development through PowerPoints for defense. We have both methodologists, quantitative and qualitative, and we have literature review specialists. The way our company works is we will assign both a methodologist and a literature review specialist if you need assistance in multiple chapters. If you need help in, say, for instance, just the methodology chapter, we will provide a methodologist to you, and you don't necessarily need a literature review specialist. So we can help you develop your research questions at topic development, find a gap in the literature, identify a theoretical framework that can explain your study. And once we finish topic development, we can go into prospectuses or concept papers, depending on what your college uses. We help with the proposal chapters, which includes the introduction, literature review, and the methodology. Within the literature review, we can help identify articles that support your research. And within the methodology, we can frame your research questions, calculate a minimum sample size, determine a data analysis plan to address your research questions, identify and justify your research design, and discuss ethical considerations and data collection procedures, things like that. Then once you have proposal approval, you can move on to IRB, data entry templates. We have our own SurveyMonkey account in which we can help host your survey. And then we help with the results chapters, discussion chapter, PowerPoints for both proposal and final defenses. And we can help take your dissertation and condense it into a journal publication. So if you've hit a roadblock and you need assistance or some guidance, please give us a call at 727-442-4290. On this slide, I have a couple of hyperlinks that will take you to both previous webinars we've done in the webinar archive and future webinars we will be doing in the future. I will show you those at the end of the presentation. So diving into today's topic about creating your own survey instrument or finding a survey instrument on the web. My best advice is not to create your own survey instrument, at least not for a dissertation. The goal for a dissertation should be to get through the process as efficiently and quickly as possible. And when you create your own survey instrument, it comes with a list of hurdles you have to jump over. You need to run a pilot test to prove that your instrument is valid and reliable. You may have to run You may have to run an EFA or a CFA. Those are exploratory factor analyses and confirmatory factor analyses. And all these additional steps can add months to the process, not a year. I've seen it take students up to a year just to validate a new instrument. So I would highly suggest looking for your own tool online for your topic that already exists. Or you could use archival data. When you look for a previously validated instrument, one of the things you want to look for is validity. There are many types of validity. There's base validity, content validity, construct validity. Base validity involves the evaluation of the feasibility, readability, and consistency of the questions that are being asked. When you evaluate base validity, you have to look for a kappa value in previous research. You can often see this in validation articles. Content validity refers to the degree in which your items can be generalized. And for this, you want to look for a content validity ratio. Construct validity is an overarching concept that branches into discriminant, convergent, and exploratory validity. So discriminant validity involves testing constructs that have no relationship, do in fact have no relationship. Convergent validity tests the degree to which two measures that should be related are in fact related. And you can use exploratory factor analysis to prove this. And usually this is reported. It's not something you have to do, I should say. This is EFA is usually something a previous researcher does when they have developed a new tool. Reliability is measuring the internal consistency of your survey. So it's trying to determine how consistent participants are in responding to the survey. Just like validity, this is often something that is reported in previous studies, and it's often tested again once you collect your data. You want to make sure that if participants are providing a certain response, say on the job satisfaction survey, it ranges from 1 is strongly disagree up to 5 being strongly agree. You want to make sure that if someone is saying, I strongly agree to one item, that there's consistency for the other survey items. That's what Cronbach alpha is checking. And you want to look for an alpha that is greater than 0.7 for this. 0.7 is the acceptable internal consistency in the social sciences and the psychology fields today. Then you want to look for scoring instructions for your survey. This can be a tricky step. Many times they are on Google. If you just type job satisfaction scoring instructions, a popular tool like that will have a lot of information online. Multiple people have proven it to be valid. You will find the scoring instructions online, but sometimes it's not as easy. You have to potentially reach out to the author, and you can do that on their university website, maybe their LinkedIn page. When you look for scoring instructions, you need to understand, do any items need to be reverse coded? Maybe you have questions that are positively and negatively phrased. If that's the case, some items need to be reverse coded. You also need to identify if there are subscales. Okay, so some surveys will measure an overarching variable, like, let me think of one here, like the emotional burnout, which is the MBI, the Maslow burnout inventory. That tool measures burnout collectively, but it also measures subscales, depersonalization, emotional exhaustion, and personal accomplishment. So when you're developing your research questions, you need to identify, are you using the overarching variable for this, burnout, or are you looking at these subscales? When looking for an instrument, you want to identify the key construct or variable that you're searching for. This should probably be done during topic development. It shouldn't be done at the methodology phase. I would do it as early as possible. As soon as you've developed your topic, you decided you're going in the quantitative direction, start looking for the instruments right away. And you can do Google searches like job satisfaction previously validated survey or job satisfaction survey, reliability and validity. I will show you that in just a minute. And as I mentioned before, you want to follow up with the authors of the original survey instrument. Many times their email is provided in the journal publications, but sometimes it's not. And you'll have to reach out to their university or look on their LinkedIn for contact information, in which case you can ask them for all validation articles and scoring instructions. And many universities require this. You need to have proof that you have reached out for permission for the use of the tool. And the author's response needs to go in your appendix at the end of your paper. I'd say most surveys online are public domain, so you don't necessarily need permission to use them, but I would say play it safe. Play it safe and reach out to the authors just in case, so you have the email with their permission and you can add it to the appendix. So in summary, you want to avoid creating your own survey unless you have no other choice. Save the construction of a survey for a journal publication instead of the dissertation. Tuition is expensive, the clock is running. You want to develop a topic and use previously validated articles. Maybe even consider doing archival data instead, using secondary data that already exists. Then you want to search for keywords in your topic to see if a previously validated survey has already been developed. And when you're doing this process, you want to identify reliability and validity statistics, report in your dissertation, and you want to obtain scoring instructions for your survey. This could be done through a simple Google search or reaching out to the authors directly through email or LinkedIn or their university website. Okay, so let's go through an example here. Today we're doing the job satisfaction survey. We have picked our topic, we have our research questions, and we want to identify if there is a previously validated tool out there to measure this construct. I'll go into Google and we'll just type job satisfaction survey. I am familiar with the JSS. I had heard of it before, so I looked it up. And interesting enough, our company website actually lists a lot of these instruments. So if you just put statistic solutions at the end of this search, you may find validation information about this tool. So you can see on our company website here, we do provide some reliability and validity statistics. We have a link here for obtaining the JSS for job satisfaction, and there are references and citations. Okay, and just going through, you want to look for validation, validity and reliability. And as I come into this one, some of the statistics will be in the middle of the results. Okay, they do talk about the content validity, construct validity, criterion validity. Okay, and this article has a lot, but you want to make sure, like in this case, this survey was amongst health workers in Nepal. And perhaps that doesn't align at all with your topic. So you may want to find just a general population that this was administered to, as opposed to a very specific one. Try a different one. So another way you can do this is also putting NCBI. NCBI is a database that provides previously validated articles. Okay, so NCBI is one of my go-to choices for references, and they even provide a site here, so you can cite the article immediately. Provides an APA reference. So here, this is really good. The JSQ has a total of 34 questions. The Cronbach alpha for reliability was calculated to be at least 0.75. Goodness of fit, this is for construct validity. And this is just the abstract. As you go down below, you'll find more detailed information about the EFA and the CFA that were used for construct validity, who the sample consisted of, 343 participants. Are there any domains or subscales? Those are listed right here. More construct validity information with the EFA. This is the type of article you want to find for your survey instrument. Okay, sometimes, unfortunately, there won't be, depending on what tool you use, there won't be a lot of information online. You have to provide what you can find. And in the worst case, you may have to prove that the instrument is valid. It's not as bad as conducting a pilot test and getting a panel of experts to prove that the tool is reliable and valid. But you may have to run an EFA or CFA. If the tool isn't not out there, it hasn't been used a lot, you may have to use your own testing to prove that it is valid. Okay, so on that note, come back over here. In conclusion, our company does assist with all parts of the dissertation. We assign both methodologists and literature review specialists. And if you have any questions about the services our company provides, you can contact us at 727-442-4290, or you can email us at info@statisticsolutions.com. I'll now be doing a question and answer session. If you have any questions, you can type those into the chat box, and we will be sending everyone a copy of the recording as well. Do we have any questions about today's topic? Okay, previous webinars right here. You can see the topics that we are doing in the future. On this hyperlink, if you go to our homepage and our company website, go to webinars, and we have 2 hyperlinks of upcoming free dissertation webinars. You can view the topics we will be doing in the future. Many of them are focused on overall chapters. Okay, so mastering the introduction, mastering your literature review, quantitative methodology, and we have some more specific topics. Okay, like levels of measurement. And next month, I'll be doing a power analysis one and a defense preparation webinar. So we have a question here of using a previously validated instrument that you have to modify for your thesis. Do you have to revalidate? It depends on your committee. I would say many times, yes. If you change the phrasing of the items, or if you take items out, if you're making modifications to it, you're changing the original method in which the survey was administered. In which case, many times, yes, you do have to revalidate it. You have to prove that it is both reliable and valid. But if it's minor adjustments, changing pronouns from he to she to we or our, then you don't necessarily have to do a whole validation again? That's a great question. So try to avoid modifying. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you have to modify your instrument, and it comes down to your committee at that point. So if the changes are drastic to the survey, you're really changing the original tool and its format, you may have to do a revalidation. Okay, do we have any other questions? So here we have the webinar archive, so you can view past recordings of all the previous webinars. Okay, do we have any additional questions? All right, as you can see, our next webinar is tomorrow. My colleague Tom will be doing a webinar on mastering the literature review. So come join if you've hit a roadblock with chapter 2, which is often the literature review. And let us know if you have any questions. Our contact information is in the PowerPoint presentation. On every slide, you'll see the phone number at the bottom, and you can email us for a free consultation. And during that conversation, you'll speak with Janine or Rachel, and they will talk to you about the services our company provides and how we can best assist to expedite your dissertation process. Let us know if you have any questions, and have a great evening. Join us for the future webinars if you can. Bye.